Assalamu alaikum. Inshallah you're well, guys. So today we're going to talk about the online application form, and I wanted to split this content into a couple of videos because when you submit that online application form, that's going to be your first impression to a future employer. So you want to make sure that you get that right. Now, the first part of the online application is relatively straightforward. So you'll have to set up a username and password. Your username is likely to be your email address, and you'll also have to enter your personal details. So that will include your name, your address, where you may have worked in the past, and where you've gone to in terms of school and university. Now, just one point to be aware of is that no organization will ever ask for your bank details. So if you're being asked to enter your account number and sort code, that should set off alarm bells in your head straight away. So there's a few tips I just want to share about email addresses. And the first one is make sure it's a professional email address. You don't want it to be something that you thought was funny whilst at school. And secondly, linked to that, I'd recommend having a separate email address set up for all of your applications. And the thing is, with personal email addresses, if yours are like mine, you will get lots of spam emails each day, companies that want you to buy their products, and I end up deleting these emails without even reading them. And what you don't want to do is accidentally delete an email from a future employer. So take my advice there, guys. Set up a separate email address for all your applications and definitely regularly review the junk box as well. The employers send emails via automated bots, and they can go straight into your junk instead of your inbox. And the final bit I want to share about when it comes to email addresses is more of an insight rather than a tip. So I get it, guys, these online applications are extremely tough. And what may happen is if you're unsuccessful at the online application stage, you may feel tempted to complete another application using a different email address. And it's my job to tell you that may not work. And the reason why is because a number of employers will have a policy in place. Actually, I'll say most employers will, in that if you're unsuccessful when applying for a graduate or a school leaver role, you normally can't apply for a similar program for about 6 to 12 months. And that can vary by firm. So if you're unsuccessful at the first attempt, when you submit that second application and you think you've gone through to a first round interview, what the employer will do is they will do a search of your personal details to make sure that you haven't applied for other schemes in the past 6 months. And then they'll actually find out that you did a duplicate application. So they will reject you. And guys, I totally understand why someone would do that. I'm not judging anyone for it, but it's my job to tell you that if you do try it, chances are that it won't work. So once you've entered your personal details, you'll also be asked to enter details about your academic achievements. So that will mostly include your grades. Now, when entering your grades, it can take two formats. So firstly, it may just be a confirmation. So this is where, say you're applying for a school leaver program and their entry requirements are 5 GCSEs at pass grade with maths and English. They will simply have the statement, please confirm that you meet these entry requirements. And all you have to select is yes or no. And the second way takes much longer. So this is where an organization will ask you to write each individual subject that you studied and the grade that you achieved. So it's okay when it comes to actual grades because you just enter what you actually received. However, what about predicted grades? What should you do then? So remember, guys, when applying, if you're a school leaver, you should be doing it in year 13. And if you're applying for a graduate role, you should be doing it in your third year of studies. And obviously at that stage, you haven't received your final grades. You don't know what you're going to get. So organizations will say, enter the grades that you've been predicted by your teacher or lecturer. And honestly, I don't agree with that. And the reason why is some schools, colleges, universities will be great. They'll take into account your past performance, how you've done recently, and give you a really accurate, fair predicted grade. Other schools, colleges, and universities, they will just take your recent mock exam result and give you a predicted grade. And some people will have the advantage where their parents will come in and then argue with the teacher or maybe even the lecturer and get a higher predicted grade. What I'm trying to say is the playing field isn't fair. So I don't actually agree when organizations say that enter the grades that have been predicted by a teacher, because you may be one of those people who can turn it around on the exam date. So my honest advice here is enter grades which are realistic. Guys, the main word is realistic. I don't want to hear that you've been entering 3A stars as your expected grades, because what may happen, and you've got to remember this, is grades are considered as part of the application process. So if you go through all the stages, at the end you may be given an offer saying, oh, we'll take you on, but you've got to now achieve those predicted grades. So you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot. And if you're really unsure, all I'd say is enter the minimum entry requirements. So if the scheme requires 112 UCAS points, which I think is BBC, put that in. Some of you may not agree with me because organizations are saying, put in your predicted grades from a reputable person. And Fazan saying, Enter what you think is achievable and realistic. My honest response to that is life's not fair. And I've seen it too many times where academic institutions will show preferential treatment or bias towards a particular type of people, and they'll neglect people from a disadvantaged community. And I've seen it where people are predicted lower grades than what they need for a particular course or subject. They've gone in, absolutely smashed it, but because they were predicted those lower grades, they can't actually pursue that career path because they had no offers. So you know what? Do what's best for you. So if your teacher predicts you BCC, argue with them, discuss it with them, say, I need to be predicted BBC, but I'm not going to hold it against you if you enter BBC on that application form, if you think it's achievable and you will go out and do your best to achieve those grades. So guys, inshallah, that's it for today. So in future videos, we're going to talk about competency-based questions, which is very important, and psychometric tests, which I believe are the hardest things that you will do as part of the application process. And we'll also cover off what sort of service lines that you can apply for and the differences between each service line. Before I go, guys, I just want to say I'm starting to post reels on Instagram. I'm trying to do that more regularly. So if you're on Instagram, please do give me a follow. And as always, if you have any questions or queries, please do get in touch.